You had then Jews who could have saved their lives by refuting their Jewishness. He still didn't do it. This guy is doing the exact opposite. It's in vogue in Hollywood saying, hey, guys, Palestinians, without paying attention to what's actually going on and understanding that there are hostages, and the second they give them back, all of this will settle down.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Smash that like button. Hopefully you find our videos to be entertaining and
Informative.
yes, right. That's right.
Yo, you
All right,
you
take
came
it
in with
away.
that energy.
That's right.
That like 2 week
You know how it is.
not showing up energy.
Yeah, I had all that energy. It had to come out somewhere.
Thank God. Thank God. Ilya had a happy occasion in the family.
That's right. My younger brother got married, and then we had a whole week of showbrahot, and it was a lot of food, a lot of drinking. But thank God, good occasion.
Yeah. Some updates, guys, because we didn't do last week's show. We're not doing a live show this time. Even this week, last week was Parshas Pikudei. This week is Parshas Vayikra. I wasn't feeling too well last week, and then this past Sunday I did half marathon.
Did you?
Yeah, I did half marathon.
How was it?
It was good. I was in a lot of pain, but I did an okay time.
What number were you?
Number? Dude, I was like 10,000 something. Are you kidding me?
Dude, why would you be proudly talking about something when you came in 10,000 something?
Because only a certain percentage of the world even attempts to do it.
Okay, I see how you
know that
all right.
only 1% of the population does a marathon.
Oh, so that's what you're capitalizing on. All right.
So anyway, no, the point is
It felt like it was one of those moments, it was one of those marathons where you get a prize to be number 10,000 or something.
First of all, everyone gets a medal. It's just a cool thing to do. No, like
Everybody gets a medal?
for finishing, you get a medal. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a Spartan race.
What?
Like a Spartan race. For completing it, you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not made out of gold or anything.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, okay.
Listen, there's a lot to be said about, I mean, you're pushing yourself past boundaries, like, just because I had done one like a month before, and I was in pain or whatever it was, I ran like 5 miles in absolute pain, just trudging through.
Did you not prepare for it?
I did not prepare for it properly because I was in pain from the previous one, which I didn't prepare for. But I was still playing I was still active. So anyway, we're talking about marathons. Anyway.
Yeah.
The point is that I was mentioning it because there was just a lot going on. Purim's around the corner in 3 days, and so because of that, we fell a little bit behind. Today's show is going to be kind of laid back. We're going to mention like a few things. One thing from each Parsha, and then just talk about Purim and some of the goings-on that are happening in the world, because that's what I chose, and I think it's a very important topic and very relevant to Purim. So,
bro, for the past 2 weeks, I've been so detached from the whole world and what's going on in the world. So I guess this is going to be my news, catching up on some news.
It's not really going to be
all right.
Like about...
So no current events.
It's current events, but it's...
Oh, man.
It has to do with like Jewish identity, and...
Okay.
I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to mention.
Okay.
But anyway, so just want to mention something from last Parsha, which is Parshas Pikudei. It's funny because this year is it's a leap year, so it's one of the few times that you have Parshas Pikudei by itself, and we didn't cover it last week. But we'll just say something small.
Moshe Rabbeinu was born in a leap year.
Was he?
Yeah, that's why his birthday was every 4 years, or every 3 years, 4 years, I believe.
You still have a birthday every year, but yeah. Interesting.
Think about it. People that were born on the 28th, I believe, last month.
Okay.
The last day. No, leap year is 29th.
Because sometimes...
Right, so it only comes every 4 years.
Because that date only exists every 4 years.
Right,
Yeah,
so how can you celebrate the date that doesn't exist?
You
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the 28th. The 29th didn't come, so how can you celebrate the 29th? So next year didn't happen. Next year. So 4 years later, you're like, oh, it's the 29th. Let's celebrate, guys.
You're an 80-year-old looking guy who's 20 years old.
That's a good one.
Oh, man. Okay. So, I just want to mention something from last week's Parshas Pikudei. Just like a fun fact, because, we have to cover something.
Let's go.
Okay, so basically, right, Parshas Pikudei. So in the Gemara Yerushalmi, there's another name for Parshas Pikudei, which is Mishkan Sheni,
Okay.
which means the second Mishkan. Just like, it's interesting.
Okay.
You know, so one of the Mefarshim say that the reason for this is because it says Mishkan twice in the pasuk, like one after another. Like they're right. Ele Pikudei Mishkan, Mishkan. So it's literally right.
But they were already ready to put together the Mishkan. They just had to wait.
Yeah. They have to wait until right. Yeah. But anyway, but that's one of the reasons. The other Mefarshim say that was the Pnei Moshe. The other Mefarshim say that the reason is very simple, because this is the second time that the Torah mentions building the Mishkan. It's already mentioned in Parshas. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Truma and Tetzaveh. In Tetzaveh. So it was already mentioned, or I think in Truma. It was already mentioned in a previous Parsha, so this is called Mishkan Sheni because it's the second time around that the Parsha is mentioning the Mishkan. Anyway, just that, and then Vayikra, this is actually very, so this week's Parsha speaks about the Karbanos and the Beis HaMikdash, right? The Karbanot, the offerings. So one of the things the Parsha mentions is that, and let's say somebody knows, they have testimony that they can give,
Okay.
but they don't.
But they stay quiet about
But
it.
yeah, they stay quiet about it. So then it says that he's going to carry that sin with him. In other words, he's culpable. But what's interesting, it says avon. There's different words for sin. There's chet, asham, right? And then there's avon. Avon is like a much more severe way of saying a sin. And that goes to show that there's so many different things that are mentioned as sins that, in the parsha, that, if something goes wrong with the karbanot or whatever it is, and yet it doesn't call it an avon. Yet, it goes to show that if somebody causes another person to lose
Okay.
their parnasa, it's a really, really grave sin. To affect someone else, to make someone else lose money that belongs to them, is a very, very, very great sin.
Is it just a sin because somebody else loses, or is it a sin also because the pain and suffering that he causes in this world that goes unpunished?
So,
You understand what I'm talking about? So is it because...
well, there's a lot of...
Okay, so by you staying quiet, is it because you didn't expose the perpetrator from doing what he did?
No,
And
it's
from
not.
finding justice in this world? Or is it because you allowed the other person take the hit, like monetary loss?
It's because you caused someone to lose money. Someone who deserved, this money really was for him, and he's not getting it because you...
So we're coming back full circle. It's about justice in this world.
Yeah, it's about
Okay.
justice. But what's interesting, it says, this is why it says, Yihi maman chavercha. One of the Tanaim, one of the rabbis in the Mishnah says, that your friend's money should be chavev alecha kishalach, should be as important to you as your own. Why? If you look in the pasuk, it says, V'loi yagid, I think. I forgot the exact wording of the pasuk, but basically what it says is that it says lo, which means no, but there's a vav between the lamed and the aleph, which is an irregular way to
express it,
to spell the word lo. So it means no, but there's this hidden message here, which is lo. He's going to be the one who loses out in the end. Meaning the one who's not going to, in other words, what that means is that if a person causes another person to lose money, Hashem will give him the money elsewhere. He'll make sure that he'll get the money. Right. But because you caused him to lose it, Hashem is gonna take that away from you at some other point. So in other words, this just goes to show how important it is to, definitely we're supposed to, support each other and make sure that we support each other's business and that we help each other, and God forbid, not to cause someone else to lose money, because it's a big no-no. It's a big boo-boo.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, just something from the Parshah. Now, Purim's around the corner, right?
That it is.
And there's something that the Friedrich Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, says in a mimer. He says that the Jewish people, if any of them at any point would have refuted their Judaism, if they would have just, said, I don't want to no longer be Jewish, convert out, whatever that means, they would have been saved.
Okay.
It was the decree was against the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, he says, the Friedrich Rebbe, it didn't even cross the mind of one Jew.
Okay.
It didn't for a moment cross the mind of any Jew. You know what? Let me save my life. Let me just un-Jewify myself. De-Jewify.
How is that even possible? Okay.
The point would be that
Right, okay.
to give it up, to no longer live like a Jew, to take on whatever the people at that point did, whatever they
But
served.
history has shown us that we've done this total opposite. In the Spanish Inquisition, in France, what's his name? Nostradamus. I don't know if you ever seen.
No,
his
first
history.
of all, he's talking about when in the time of the story of Purim.
Ah, okay.
Even the people who did it in the Inquisition, it was
There were still undercover Jews. They were still doing it in the basement, right?
They still kept it secretly.
There was actually an opinion that Columbus was actually an undercover Jew.
So
His whole family.
So I think people say that somebody with him was a Jew, like one of the people. Like, I don't know. I've heard that, but I've heard it was.
Did you know that in German schools they actually talk about how the Americans, what's his name, fixed all the history books? You know, the pilgrims, that they say pilgrims came here.
Yeah.
You know who really came here? It was all the Jews that were exiled from Europe, and they came to United States because they wanted to escape what's the scrutiny of Europe. So they came here. And then when they saw how fertile the land is and how great the land is and everything else, then all the Europeans started sending their people to live here and colonize and take over the land. So it was the Jews who first came here to start a new life.
Well, they were the natives.
Natives is natives. I'm talking about pilgrims. I'm talking about how we have in our history books that it was, the pilgrims came here because they wanted to start a life.
This.
It's all BS. Go and look at in Germany, in high school, they actually teach you about how a United States had, faked their whole history. And all the history books are all fake. They're just pushing their own propaganda.
I never heard this.
In Germany, they teach this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, openly they teach this. This is part of their curriculum.
Okay, I mean, maybe they'll fact check us. We'll see. But I mean, I heard about Columbus, and I think it was debunked. But it's possible. Anything's possible. But anyway, the point is, I never heard that before. That's very interesting.
In Germany they teach that. You ask an average 17, 18-year-old kid, he's like, it's part of the curriculum.
Where'd you hear this?
Oh, it's all over the news. It's everywhere. I had German friends. I was in Hamburg, Germany for 4 months.
Oh, okay.
So I had a couple of German friends. I made some friends.
So basically, but the point is that people didn't refute their Judaism. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because recently by the Oscars, what's this guy's name? The guy stood up there and said, we refute our Jewishness. So he made a movie, I think it's called Zone of Interest.
Okay.
It basically shows how Germans lived really, really near the concentration camps.
Okay.
It doesn't show any of what went on in the concentration camps. It shows the people who lived right near it, who were, I think, they were the men in the family were in charge of running them. Okay. So you just hear screams and you see smoke, and the whole idea of the movie is that you can, sit by and live your life while people are getting slaughtered. Right? So he's going and saying, oh, well, what's going on in Gaza and the war, so, I because of, everything that's going on, I refute my Jewishness.
Okay.
Which is interesting that he felt the need to refute his Jewishness in order to stand.
Why doesn't he just set himself on fire like the rest of the morons?
Oh, gosh. No. So,
you won't have me stop you. I mean, go for it.
No. So it doesn't mean anything, number one. I think Listen, the reason I brought this thing before about what the Frierdiker Rebbe said is because you had then Jews who could have saved their lives by refuting a Jewishness. He still didn't do it. This guy is doing the exact opposite. It's very popular. It's very, it's in vogue in Hollywood saying, hey, Gaza and Palestinians, without listening to anything, without paying attention to what's actually going on and understanding that there are hostages, and the second they give them back, all of this will settle down.
Right. This is why how many soldiers
One second.
you know how many IDF soldiers who were non-Jews have converted in the past year ever since the war has started? Do you know how many? Hundreds if not thousands.
I don't know.
Young soldiers converted to Judaism. Why? Because they saw what's going on. What's the truth and what isn't. So it goes to show you that some of these morons that want to refute or whatever the hell they want to do, let them set themselves on fire. Nobody's gonna miss them.
Okay, so listen, it's still our brother. He's still our brother, and I'm not angry about it. I actually think that he doesn't.
I'm actually upset for him because he was able to be brainwashed by the dumb media.
Okay, so I'm saying I think he doesn't know the first thing about what it means to be a Jew. For him, maybe being Jewish is some gefilte fish and chreim,
Right.
whatever.
For the record, I'm Jewish and I hate gefilte fish. All right? So it's an acquired taste. You grew up with it, you acquired it. You didn't grow up with it, it doesn't make you less Jewish or more Jewish.
The point is he felt the need to sell out because of his social standing.
There you go, sell out.
Yeah, but the point is he didn't. But I'm not angry at it because he doesn't know the first thing about being Jewish to begin with. People are like getting all angry. It's like the guy, whatever tiny Jewish culture he had in his life, it doesn't resemble actual Judaism. That's my guess. A Jew who knows what he has is never going to refute it for nothing.
In the 40s and the 30s, if you lived in Germany or if you lived anywhere in Europe, the mentality was Jews are bad, Jews are this, Jews are that. Now, there are a lot of people that grew up, weren't so religious, and they were Jews, but they grew up in this sophisticated world that they think they're around intelligent people. And when you hear them speak, they speak about Jews and anybody who is Jewish like they're worse than scum of the earth. Why? Because this was the norm. Because all around them spoke about Jews the same way. So this is around all that speak like this, which is why he feels that way. That's why I said I'm sad on the fact that he's being able to be brainwashed by the media. Like, are you really that dumb? Wake up and smell the coffee, you fool.
Listen, you just have to go onto Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. You see, there's
exactly.
Today what happened? There's a certain actor I see, who he became I don't even know if it's confirmed, but the person who posted this on X was like, they chose James Bond, the new James Bond, because the old one just died, right? So in the movies he died, so they chose a new one, and he's Jewish, and this is like she's like anti-Zionist, anti-this, anti-Israel. It's like I started to laugh. I'm like, you're angry that a Jew got cast for James Bond? Like, an actor got cast for James Bond. He happens to be Jewish. Yay! Like, she's like so pissed about it, and like underneath, like, boycott James Bond. Blah, blah, blah. It's like,
because the actor is Jewish.
He's Jewish. I was like, yeah, your mask came off. Like, your mask came off. It's
retarded.
Yeah, it's dumb. But anyway, I wanted to say one more thing because I on the way here from work, from my bus driving. I'm a bus driver.
Be careful, don't disclose that. Somebody's gonna try to sabotage your bus or something.
Well, first I have to find my bus.
Good luck with that in Brooklyn.
I'll tell you the first three it's only 3 letters. No, I'm just kidding. Numbers, anyway. There you go. Now you know it's numbers and not letters. I should narrow it down for you.
Right.
Who's watching it anyway that's gonna...
I know, right? You underestimate your fame, bro.
No, I'm saying who's watching, like, I don't know. Who would watch it that would want to sabotage?
A guy in Queens. I was praying, and the guy staring at me while I'm praying. It was Mincha on Shabbos. He's staring at me, and I saw him from my peripheral. I'm like, why the hell is he staring at me? So after we were done davening and everything, he's like, "Bro, you look so familiar. Where do I know you from?" I'm like, "I don't know." He's like, "Do you work in Brooklyn?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you know Yossi Lolia?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you do the podcast." I was like, "Oh shoot." He's like,
In
"Yeah, bro, you fit." I'm
Queens?
like, "Dude, I have no idea who you
I was like,
are."
is
I'm
that
like,
in
"Oh,
Queens?
yeah." I was like, "All right, I'm getting famous."
Who is that? I'm so confused right now. On Shabbat?
Yeah, on Shabbat.
That's so funny. Okay.
He's
Wow.
Bukharian, but he looks very Ashkenaz, like very light skin. Uh, yeah, 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 Shalom, right.
Yeah, yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shalom,
That's
yeah.
so funny, bro.
There's a barber shop somewhere in Long
Yeah,
Island.
yeah,
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 yeah. Yo, that's so funny.
yeah. Yeah,
Small world.
man.
Small world. The second you said he looks Ashkenaz, I'm like, bam, got him.
I'm
Okay.
praying and the guy's staring. I was like, "Dude, who are you? Like, what do you want?" He's like, "Wait a minute, you look very familiar." I was like, "Okay, I guess."
That is funny. That is
So
so
you're
funny.
famous, bro. You're more famous than you think.
Dude, I know him
Oh,
from
okay.
before I was doing this.
Oh, okay.
So one day it'll happen. One day it'll happen.
Wait, it has to be somebody you don't know,
Well,
or you can't remember from the back of your head like that.
no, it's not someone who knows me from the video. They know me from in person.
Right. He said he went to school with you or something.
Which is actually, it's cool. No, we were co-counselors in a camp in Queens. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, that was pretty funny though. Um, what was I saying?
Back to the Parsha.
Oh, so when I was coming here, I was watching. I saw a reel from Jewish media, GEM, Jewish Educational Media. That's like, they put out all the videos of the Rebbe. They're officially the ones who have, the rights to.
All the black and white ones
No. Well, black and white and not whatever. They have everything.
by his color
What?
in Queens. They're the ones who putting up all those videos by his grave.
They have all those videos, but they also have their social media accounts and they post videos.
So you're telling me if on YouTube I start posting their videos, they're gonna shut me down?
No.
I'm talking about videos of the Rebbe. If I
No. You can post videos of the Rebbe. It's fine. But I'm saying they have the whole archive.
If they have the rights, that means they.
They're not. I don't. No, that's not what's going on. They happen to have all of the videos that they can put at any point.
Oh, okay.
But that's funny. I don't think they do that. So the Rebbe is saying how, like, you should be a proud Jew, and you should represent who you are. Don't hide who you are. Don't be embarrassed of who you are. You're saying a complete human being is someone who's not embarrassed of who he is. The same thing, a complete Jew is someone who's not embarrassed. Why would you be embarrassed? So he says, some people might say, why would you go ahead and be, start up with the non-Jews? Like, that they're going to see, you're different, fly under the radar, low profile. He says, you don't get it. The non-Jew, the Gentile knows you're different than him. Everybody knows you think you're going to fool somebody? Tell them, oh, we're just like you. We're not the same. We all have our own, missions in the world. We're different, and we all have a place in this world, but we're not, the Jew is not the same. So by you going ahead and trying to convince everybody, including the king, because he's talking about Purim, that you're different. Why did he mention the king? Because Mordechai Yehudi, Mordechai the Jew, was by the Shar HaMelech. Even by the gate of the king, he was Mordechai Yehudi. He wasn't defined, even when you say Mordechai HaTzadik, but the Megillah calls
He
him.
always stood out, is what you're saying.
The
To the
Megillah-
king, he always stood out.
He stood up to everyone. He was defined by, what was his title? His title wasn't
Mordechai the
Rabbi.
Jew, yeah.
It was Mordechai Yehudi. At the King's Gate in Washington, D.C., right? But he was HaYehudi, the Jew. He was distinguishably a Jew. And so he says, they all know that you have, right? Haman tells Achashverosh, their laws are different than everybody else. They're different. They all know. So the moment that you try to act like you're not, the Rebbe said the words, like they say in this country, hypocrite. He said the words, hypocrite. He says it in the reel. And hopefully I'll remember to put a link on the bottom. You know, so you could watch the reel. So instead of LARPing at something that you're not, be a proud Jew.
Right, right.
And that's going to, and it's so funny because the first time it mentions, this is I heard from Rabbi Gian. Go check out Torah on Demand on YouTube. I'm actually involved in putting all that stuff out. No, it's good stuff. So Rabbi Gian, he was talking about the first time it mentions Mordechai in the Megillah, calls him, it says, Ish Yehudi Haya b'Shushan Abira. Before it mentions his name, it says there was a Jewish man in Shushan.
There's a small
And then it says, Ushmo Mordechai. And his name was Mordechai. What does that mean? What does that mean? That before you know anything about him personally or who he is, Ish Yehudi, the first thing you see about him is he's a Jew. It's incredible. And here you have people who, like I said before, it's probably because they don't even know what it means to be a Jew. The first thing about being a Jew, just because it's popular, it's in vogue, and they want to, fit in with the cool kids, right off your Judaism. The outrage, I think, was because they thought this guy knew what it means to be a Jew. Yeah, whatever,
There's a small mashal about that.
Yeah.
A school of fish gets trapped in a small body of water. And in the small body of water, there's other fish that are trying to get them. There's crocodiles and other...
Rabbi Akiva.
I believe so.
Rabbi Akiva.
The fox comes up to them and says, hey, come out, I'll keep you safe. And then the fish answer back. They say, what are you, a fool? Yes, we might be in danger, but we're in our own element. So there's some way that we could still be saved, or at least some of us will survive. We come out of the water, we're completely doomed.
It's like you're being persecuted. That was the whole thing, because Rabbi Akiva told, I forgot his name, it was Papus or Papus, something like that. He told him, why are you teaching Torah? He said, Torah is our life.
Torah,
So you're being persecuted because learning Torah. You think that by not learning Torah you're going to be saved. It's like a fish out of water.
Exactly.
You're
non-existent. Right.
So because I'm in danger in the water, therefore I'll be safer out of the water. That's the most flawed logic, and it's the same thing.
But it goes deeper. There's another mashal that relates to this, and it talks about a fox. A fox was caught by two hunters, and so it decided it's going to play dead. So the hunters come up to him and say, oh, it's dead. He says, oh, if it's dead, he's like, all right, since it's dead, I'm going to cut off his tail. I want to keep the fur. And so the fox hears this and he says, okay, fine. Let him cut off my tail. At least I'll be alive. At least that.
Okay.
So cuts off his tail. He endured the pain. And then a couple of minutes later, the second one says, ooh, you know what? His fangs look really cool. I'm going to take his fangs out. He says, oh, shoot, if he's going to take my fangs, all right, you know what? It's going to hurt a little, but I'm still, at least I'll be alive.
Yeah.
So he knocks out his fangs and he stays there. He endures the pain. A couple of minutes later, the second one says, you know what? His whole fur, I'm going to skin him. He's dead anyways. I'm not going to eat him or anything. I'm just going to take his fur. It's going to be useful. And the fox hears it and he says, oh my God. I can't survive without my fur. If they take my fur, that's it. I'm done. I'm dead. So what does he do? He just jumps up and boom, what's his name? He just strolls away, just runs away quickly. What's the point of the story? If he would have done that in the beginning, he would have escaped with his tail and with his teeth. But because he kept on enduring and said, okay, I'll just do this, but at least I'll be alive. But at least I'll give this up, but at least I'll be alive. The more you say that, the more you lose yourself.
Yeah,
the more there's none of you left, the more you compromise. So there's no compromises.
Wow, that's
You need
powerful.
to do what you need to do, and you need to do it 100% without any compromises. Because the moment you start compromising is when you lose your identity and who you are. And that's what happened to the fox. We are that fox. That person who's talking about his relationship.
In general, like the most.
But I'm just giving you an example.
In this,
we're comparison to a fox, and that person who you're talking about, that he says
compared to a fox.
We as Jews, we as people are compared to the fox. In that story, I'm saying.
Oh, not in general.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So this person who you're talking about that wants to relinquish his Judaism, he's that fox that's willing to give up his tail, then his fangs. And then he realizes that there's nothing of him left. Who is he now?
Yeah.
How can he possibly call himself a Jew? Does he keep kashrut? Does he keep Shabbat? Does he identify? Does he do anything
But
as
you
a
see,
Jew?
this is why I disagree with you because of course a Jew is meant to keep Shabbat, meant to keep kosher, but there are Jews
Who don't do any of these
the
things?
Jews who don't do anything, and when you tell them when you refute Judaism, they would say, "No way."
But that's what compromises are. Because they keep on compromising, they lose their whole identity.
So this is the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. He
What's
says
me? What you want?
the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. He says that the reason a Jew would sin is because he thinks he's not being disconnected from God. But the moment, let's say, someone tells him convert or die, he knows that that's taking away his connection from God, and he'll never give it up. I think this guy doesn't even know. This guy doesn't know what it means. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Comment below. Tell us what you think. We don't normally talk about world events. Tell us if you like this and if we should include this in the Parsha, and then we could call it Parsha and Stuff at theBarber. No, I'm just kidding. But
Well, you got to talk about the what's his name, modern world and what's going on.
well, the main thing is the Parsha. We shouldn't give up the Parsha, but maybe we can add a little segment where we just talk about how modern day events relate to Torah events. Like here, it just fit in very well with Purim. But keep strong, be proud Jews, walk around strong and proud as a Jew, and they'll respect you for it. The world will respect you when you stand strong as a Jew. Anyways, we got to wrap up. So have a Freilich and Purim. By this point, you already would have broken your fast. So we'll be with each other.
That's
Easy rest of our fast.
That's right.
And Shabbos, Freilich and Purim.
Yes.
May we see the hostages freed now.
ASAP.
All of this Torah that we're doing should be in the merit of the freeing of the hostages and the soldiers coming home and Mashiach coming now and ending all of the strife and the war in this world. And
Everybody start getting ready. Mashiach is coming this Pesach.
Amen, hopefully before. And yeah, until next time, love you guys.
Good Shabbos.
Oh, guys, yeah, get your haircuts at the Railroad Barber. Best haircuts out there. Even though my wife gave me mine, because the day I needed a haircut.
Bro, you're no good for business, man.
Now I have some.
Yeah,
you know.
he learned his lesson.
You know, they're not here for you, bro.
I hope not.
Cops,
If anybody asks,
the cops.
I was
aren't
here the
for
whole
you.
time.
Oh man.
All right, let's go.